next, we have a business owner that is bossing it in his own way. And that way might just include covering the world in denim and making everything much easier to throw around in the kitchen. So let's meet Ulrich Conrad Simpson. Ooh, I love three names. The founder of Me Cocina. Hi, Ubi. So we have 10 minutes with you, and there's so much I want to get into because your resume is so impressive. So for the past 25 years, you spent your time designing for brands like Nike, Tommy Hilfiger, and Coach, just to name a few. Wow. First of all, that's amazing. And so then you made the transition from clothing designer to kitchen and home products. What inspired you to go down this path?
I've spent my last 25 years working in everything from sportswear to denim. I had previously, probably 7 years before I started Mi Cocina, I had a jeans brand. Fast forward, it just got overcrowded, and I was at a sort of crossroads. And my wife and I, we had a baby girl, Gabriela, and my wife said to me, "Look, I don't do breakfast and I don't do denim. I'm sorry, I don't do breakfast and I don't do mornings. Can you manage mornings?" And that was kind of the birth of Mi Cocina. I usually get up about 4:30 in the morning. My wife suffers from this thing called hangriness, so I had to make sure that I that I got
Me
up.
too.
Also, you know how it is, or the other person knows how it is. It's just like, okay. So I'm always handling food, and with that, it was just one of those things that I figured if my wife has this, my daughter probably is going to have this, so I'll take over the mornings. And my wife said to me, she's like, "Look, like I said, handle and manage mornings." And so she's like, "I'll put her to bed, read her a book, the whole thing." And I'm like, "Perfect." So I would start my morning, and I was just perplexed by this, like, all of this stuff. I'm like, it's horrible. It's like frilly. It doesn't make any sense. Everything's white, gray. Like, why wouldn't you use something like denim or another fabric that actually can take a beating, look better the more you use it? And I just started, like, sort of making these pieces. You know, I'm about 285. My wife's about a buck 25 wet. So I needed something that we could both wear. Cooking's not a dainty process. With the denim, I don't have to really explain what denim does. It's one of
Mhm.
those things that, it works out really well. It'll last. You can wash it. You can get stains on it. And with the baby, since we weren't going out to dinner, we're going to entertain. I wanted something where we could entertain with friends. We have placemats and runners, and it just made sense that there was product, and there wasn't anything I could find in the market. So I kind of doubled down and started designing it, and sort of in the same solve the problem that was out in the market.
Yeah, which is amazing because your products are in kitchens, they're in garden shops, and they're also in the Guggenheim Museum.
Yes,
Holy
yes.
cannoli. Okay, how did that happen?
I was at a show and I was at the restroom. I come back out. My sales rep said, "Hey, could you tell me a little bit about your past?" And I said, "Oh, I'm from New York. Mi cocina is Spanish for my kitchen. My mom, who's Puerto Rican, that's kind of where that came from." And she's like, I married a Puerto Rican." I go, "And how'd that go for you?" And everyone's like, "Oh," and I knew that was someone. I didn't know what, and I just kept on joking around. And so they end up, her and her sort of group left, and she looked at one of the aprons. She goes, "I love that apron. I'll get back to you." So I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." And then so my sales rep came next to me, and she's like, "Wow, that would be great to sell to them." I go, "Who are they?" She goes, "The Guggenheim Museum." I'm like, "Oh no." And then a couple months later, she calls me and she says to me, she goes, "Hey, remember that apron? We have an exhibit coming up in the next couple months. We'd love to see if you could make something for us." And I said, "Oh yeah." I was like, "What's the exhibit?" She's like, "For the Robert Mapplethorpe exhibit." And I was like, "Wow,
Wow.
okay, sure." And we just kind of, went into it and made a beautiful apron for them, and that was the start.
Okay, I want us to get to the three products that you want to highlight today that you want everyone at home to go, click, and buy because your stuff is amazing.
Thank you, thank you. We'll start with the napkins. I'll show you napkins. Um,
I love them. We used them last night for Thanksgiving dinner, and they were so incredible. I love them so much.
Awesome. So those are napkins. They are go-to. They're great. You just wash them, you put them in a pile, and they'll keep on going. Then we have I call this our gateway drug. This sort of starts first. They start here, and then they move on to some of the other
Yeah.
pieces. This is for cast iron, and it's our number one seller. It's like a no-brainer. It's amazing. I always say, I say to people, I go, what's a burn worth to you? And so this is an easy, no nonsense. And then this is our new addition to the group, which is our log bag.
Ooh.
Yeah, this is our new little beauty. Has all the bells and whistles, and um, everything is made here in the U.S. Between SF and Los Angeles. So it's also used as a little dog and pet carrier. So we
Oh,
have
that's cute.
I have a daughter, so I have to think of these,
Yeah.
alternative things to do.
So I have a couple more questions for you.
Sure.
We're still in time of COVID, and everyone's business is being affected differently. But since so many of your products are made for the kitchen, how do you feel like your business has sort of thrived or hit bumps during COVID?
We have hit a silver lining. Everyone's home and everyone's eating, not going out as much, or everyone's like, wow, now I can really do what I've wanted to do for so long. And so we've sort of fit into that role. And again, denim is one of those things that, the more you wash, the softer it gets. It's like a pair of jeans. Like, I don't have to I don't really have to do much to sell it, because, we've had the miners, the cowboys, and everyone else sort of do all the all the work for us.
Okay, so we have an audience question. Miss Harris is from the Black Girls Culinary Facebook group, and she wants to know, when did you know that this is what you love and what you want to do? Was there an aha moment, or was it just something that you've always had no doubts about?
In the beginning, as I started to develop the product, look deeper into it, I was trying to solve a problem, and I just couldn't find it. And I go, I kept on asking, saying to my wife, I'm like, why can't anyone figure this out? Like, isn't this a big enough industry? And that was the aha moment. I go, oh wow, here we are. You know, maybe this is the path I need to go. And as I started to sort of double down and start to design some of the product, I would go to stores, friends who had shops, and they were like, "Oh my God, this is amazing!" I almost burnt myself. Or have people come, they're like, looks like a track marks. They're like, "Look, I burned myself here. I burned myself here," and I'm like, "Oh no!" And they're like, "Your product is great." I'm like, so it's been pretty amazing to see that, and see just all different types of people kind of come to me, um, from chefs to home chefs. It's fun, and it just keeps on evolving. Obviously we have log bags now, and everything, so I try to bring the story together. My wife is Canadian, so I like to joke with her. I said, I brought the Canadian tuxedo to the home, or to the kitchen.
I love it. I love your story. We have to go, but I do want to mention that you were on Oprah's Favorite Things. Did you freak
Yes.
out? What happened when you learned that information?
You know what? I mean, to get an accolade or just a mention from Oprah is so huge. I joke with my friends. I said, I was knighted by the Queen, Queen Oprah, our Queen. I was just like completely overwhelmed, and super thankful, and like, I mean, it's again, it's like the Queen knighted me, and I'm just like buzzing at all times.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, so you got all the props. Your work is amazing. Love all your products. So can you let everyone know at home how they can find them, website, social media, all those things?
Our website is www.micocina, Our Instagram is micocina sf.ca. And I think that's pretty much it. And we're on Facebook and Micocina also. So thank you guys. This is amazing.
Oh my God. Thank you so much for being on the show today. Bye, Boo.